Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Michaels and Alexandria Hansen here, welcoming you to the world premiere of Titanic.
Thanks, Bob. Oh, I think we're in for a spectacular evening tonight. We're expecting half of Hollywood to show up for this premiere. Everyone from Sylvester Stallone to Rod Stewart.
Not only do we have stars, we have loads of fans. As you can see here, preparations are in full swing. The press corps is getting lined up, and of course the fans are jostling for position.
Mann's is such an interesting theater. It's steeped in Hollywood history. All of the world's greatest premieres have been shown here.
Here are the valets who will be helping the stars and dignitaries exit their limos when they arrive.
Well, I think it's an exciting night for everyone here tonight, not just the fans, but the stars and the press as well. There's foreign press as well as Hollywood press.
Alex, we have our first limo arriving as they pull the tree out of the way. Let's see who's getting out.
I can't tell just yet, but there seems to be a lot of excitement. That's Frances Fisher. I hear she's really wonderful in the film as well.
Certainly a fetching gown she has on as she poses for the press there.
Well, she looks very different from the character that she played in the movie.
She looks to be in pretty good shape, too. And of course, there are going to be studio dignitaries, local government officials. This is truly the hottest ticket in town tonight.
Well, people have been waiting a really long time for this movie premiere. There's been a lot of hype, and the press has been on it for quite a while.
Well, and rightfully so. This has got to be the most expensive motion picture ever made.
It's very exciting. It's so good. I saw it last night for the first time. It's wonderful to watch. Tedious day after day being, wet for 12, 13 hours at night. It was a little tedious, but I wouldn't say it was difficult. It was just arduous.
So you don't want to go swimming after?
Not in Mexico, I don't. Sure.
That was Danny Tucci being interviewed by our on-the-street reporter Marcus Altmaier. Danny played Leonardo DiCaprio's character's best friend in the film.
Who just arrived there? We saw somebody very tall and very pretty getting out of the limousine.
Oh, that's Susie Amos. Susie Amos is one of the only characters that didn't go down with the ship. She played the granddaughter in the film.
Sounds like the only smart one. Susie looked like she was helping someone else out of the limousine as we watched other studio dignitaries. Oh, isn't that Gloria Stuart?
Yeah, I think it is. I can't really see from here. I can only see the back of her head.
Well, the boys in the control truck have put up the name, so it is official. It is Susie Amos and Gloria Stuart.
Well, this must be a very exciting night for Gloria Stuart, too, because she really hasn't made a film in quite some years, and to make a comeback in one of the biggest and most expensive films of the year is just incredible.
Well, it certainly is, and very deservedly so. She's had a brilliant career, but this could be the rebirth of something really big. Of course, here we see more studio executives and dignitaries arriving as well for this gala evening, all pouring into Mann's Chinese Theater for the premiere of the decade is being billed as, but certainly this could be the premiere of the entire motion picture industry. This is the big one.
It is a big one, and it's a big one for a lot of reasons, mostly because of the caliber of stars that were part of the cast of this film. Let's go back down to the street now with Marcus, who I think he's interviewing Frances Fisher.
That's an interesting question. I haven't been asked that, which is good for you. You scored. I felt that as soon as I got into my corset and my clothes, that I was there. I had absolutely no problem being there because the set design, costume design, lighting, the script just put me there so completely that I'd never felt challenged in the acting department. The long hours, but then it's not the only film I've worked on that has long hours, you know, so that's par for the course. I had to go, I played this part over a period of 6 months, and it didn't work every day, so, you know, going back home to LA and, you know, being a mom and coming back down, I worried that maybe I would lose my character or something like that, but I tell you, I didn't. I didn't feel that I had a rough time at all. I didn't feel challenged at all. It was about being as good as everybody else in the scene.
Can I ask you?
Yeah.
After so many years, why do you think it is we're still fascinated with this tragedy?
I think we're still fascinated by this tragedy because it was something that didn't need to happen, and it was about man's arrogance and belief that they were stronger than the forces of nature. And I think that's why it serves as a symbol of don't mess with a big guy.
Do you see any parallels to the making of this film as one of the biggest films in history?
Not really, because I don't think this one's going to sink. I think this one's going to fly.
And fly at will, because the critics are surely talking very highly of this motion picture, and the studios have bet a lot of money that this is going to be a huge success. There's Leah Thompson we see being interviewed.
Leah Thompson from Caroline in the City.
Here we have more dignitaries and stars coming up again. And it's interesting to see that they come in convertibles, and now even GMC Blazers are considered limousines, big black Suburbans. Good shot of the press corps there. Beautiful Rolls-Royce Corniche. That's certainly the way to arrive at the biggest premiere of the season.
Oh, I see Jennifer Tilly down on the street.
Let's go back down on the street for a special statement by James Cameron and Gloria Stuart.
Oh, this is the dreamiest
There you go.
man
What a
in the
great-
world and the most talented.
Very good. Indoors. Drop it there.
All the stars are here, and I'll tell you what, it is pandemonium down there on Press Lane. We're seeing one star and hearing the voice of others as they are shouting over the din at the respective reporters trying to get their attention. There's a beautiful shot of Susie, and it's lovely this evening. I think Marcus is putting together something really interesting, and that would be 3 generations of Titanic women.
We have the grandmother, the daughter, and the granddaughter. Gloria Stuart, Frances Fisher, and Susie Amos all together.
Who do we have showing up here? Well, it looks like more studio executives. Whenever they get out, they have a worried look on their face, and they're trying to count the crowd. You know that it's the boys from the studio front office.
Down on the street now I see Linda Hamilton greeting a bunch of fans. She's, of course, James Cameron's wife, and she starred in Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And Arnold really got her in shape for that picture. That was pretty amazing.
It's like shining. The story
limos just keep pouring in. More and more folks showing up. You can see the crowd of dignitaries. And there's Tom Arnold, of course, and his lovely wife.
I think her name is Julie.
Tom, of course, a big fun-loving guy, and has turned into be a terrific motion picture actor.
Well, he's come a long way since his days on Roseanne. That, of course, is Sherry Lansing, head of Paramount Studios.
The movie's extraordinary. It's one of the all-time great films. It's a love story, and it also has the most amazing special effects you've ever seen in your life.
One of the most important ladies in Hollywood.
Now, she's responsible for a lot of wonderful pictures.
And in fact, I believe this is Leonardo DiCaprio coming to join the crowd. And let's go to a pre-recorded interview with Leo.
Would you agree with me that after the audience takes James Cameron's ride on the Titanic, that they're going to be amazed, they're going to feel like, hey, I went back in time?
I mean, most definitely. I mean, this film was not only unbelievable to do, but unbelievable to witness on screen. I mean, I've never seen anything truly like it in my entire life. It's not only is it a huge spectacle and a fantastic, love story between the two characters, but it's got a lot of important social themes, I think, to it. I mean, it has a lot to do with man's arrogance and thinking. They could build a ship that was unsinkable in the first place, and the whole first-class, third-class struggle that went on the boat.
There are a lot of social questions that came up after the sinking of the Titanic.
We'll be coming back for more of that exclusive interview as the evening progresses. We see more dignitaries showing up here in one limo after another. The captain waves them along.
We have a nice shot right now of Linda Hamilton and James Cameron. You don't often see the two of them together out in public.
And David Warner, too, who also plays the villainous head of security in the movie. And, of course, there's Leo, being mobbed by the press, and many well-wishers and greeters coming up to shake hands and congratulate him on a job well done. There's certainly opportunities for Academy Awards for him.
The industry is already buzzing about a lot of Academy Award nominations, especially for James Cameron, because everybody realizes what a massive undertaking this project was. But it would be great to see Leonardo be nominated also.
And of course, here we see Leo being mobbed by the press, being photographed literally from every angle. Let's go back to that exclusive interview.
Your character, Jack Dawson, kind of a wild frontier spirit. Is that how you played him? He comes across that way.
Well, he's definitely, a bohemian in a lot of senses. He's, the interesting thing was, he was an artist who, lived life sort of day to day and got by as best as he could. But the cool thing was that, he met this girl from a completely different world and, opens her up to what her life can potentially be, which was, really cool.
And of course, as part of our coverage, exclusive pre-recorded interviews with the stars from Titanic. There's Linda and James being interviewed by Entertainment Tonight. We bring you all the coverage. We have cameras down on the street, a camera on the rooftop across from the theater, and of course our interview camera with Marcus.
From this angle, you can see how far the crowds stretch back. We have streets blocked off for miles and miles.
Up, and there's Leo again, being very patient. He's stopping along almost each step of the way. Say, who's that?
That's Fran Drescher from The Nanny.
Right. Fran's wearing one of Liberace's old dressing gowns. And of course, she's visiting with, coming over to say hello to Céline Dion, who's presently occupied.
I think the movie's going to be awesome. I think Leo rules, so it's going to be a great night. I can't wait to see it.
Celine and her husband.
Her husband, Renee, who's also her manager.
What a brilliant career she's enjoying. And there's someone who looks just exactly like Lawrence Fishburne, but isn't. And of course, Leo stopping to visit and make sure that all of the press photographers have their opportunity.
He's very good with the press. He's very patient and very sweet.
I'll tell you, this movie is just so huge in the detail. One of the things that accounts for some of the immense cost of this motion picture is James Cameron's just relentless desire to have perfect detail. All of the china and linens and furniture and everything were absolute, accurate, 100% reproductions of the original materials that were on board the Titanic on its maiden voyage.
That and, of course, all the special effects in this film, which, you know, were millions and millions of dollars.
They actually have a museum down in Rosarito, Mexico, where they shot a lot of this, the shot of the ship and those kinds of things that depicts all of the things that went into the picture. Change camera positions, and we get a chance to see some very interesting power lines. And as the spotlight sweeps through, that illuminates those power lines for an interesting effect. Here we have more press, more studio executives.
Any word yet on what Leonardo's next big project is going to be?
That is the question that is buzzing all over town. It has all of the studios in flames, and I'll tell you what, though, it's going to be a huge bidding war, whatever it is. We're going to see numbers attached to star salaries that have never been discussed.
Well, I would imagine he'd want to keep a low profile for a little while. Must be exhausted after this project.
Well, and the promotional tour for this picture has got to be just absolutely horrendous. I mean, they have literally been all over the world. Here we get another shot of that's just the press corps. The fans and the crowd are actually up to camera left, and they are considerable.
And the crowds are still building. People have been flying in and driving in from all over the country. Let's go back now to the rest of that Leonardo interview.
One of the things he does to open her up, he brings her down into the third class and introduces her to Irish step dance. That had to be a lot of fun.
That was cool, yeah.
I like James Horner's score, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, very Irish-driven, and most of the crew members were Irish. Many of them were. Yeah.
Absolutely, they built most of their shit.
That was the third part of our exclusive interview with Leonardo, and now we're back down on the street with Marcus, who I think is about to interview Céline Dion. Céline Dion, of course, sang the theme song to Titanic, which has been playing on the radio quite a bit lately.
What do you think of Leonardo DiCaprio's performance?
Amazing. It's heartbreaking. I've seen him in a few movies before, but it's my first time meeting him tonight, and it was just behind, and I met him for the first time, and it was a big thrill. I'm a big lover. I think he looks wonderful. I think he has a great talent, and I think it's amazing because everybody loves Leonardo. He's the young kids, all the women. We love him because he looks wonderful, and he has lots of guts. But also the grandmothers who don't like sometimes too wild young guys or too gutsy. It's like they're afraid of it. But he found a way to be loved by everyone, and he's just so talented. He's the best.
Céline, let me talk about your song. Do you expect a nomination for the Academy Award, or do you hope at least?
I think, I'm very superstitious, so I can't talk about the future, but definitely I know that this movie will have a wonderful life because it deserves it, and not only because it deserves it, because it is a beautiful should-have, and this is a wonderful movie. So it will have the life it deserves, and to be part of it, I'm just very honored. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Some wonderful comments by Céline Dion, and actually some very cogent statements. The film is expected to have a tremendous life of its own, and of course, her being superstitious, she's not making any predictions as to her performance of the song in the Academy Awards, but certainly it is a beautiful, beautiful song and deserves consideration.
And she does a beautiful job with it. She has such an amazing voice.
Here's Ray Liotta stopping to say hello to the press corps as he goes in. A very handsome actor who's had a brilliant career and a wide range of motion pictures, probably most famous for The Goodfellas. Here we see more press, and you can see now, you get some feeling of the amount of people. There's literally thousands and thousands of people.
It looks like some people are starting to file into the theater, but I don't think they're going to be screening the film for quite a while, and there are still hundreds and hundreds of people on the street. There's Leonardo being interviewed by one of the reporters down there.
That was Sumner Redstone, the head of Viacom, who just walked by. Marcus is in place now, and let's see if we can get a statement.
What do you think about being part of a $200 million movie?
I mean, for me, it was certainly the first type of film that I've done like this ever in my life. I mean, I've sort of traditionally done smaller films, but I mean, overall, I looked at it as an interesting character piece. What was surprising for all of us about the movie was the fact that it's about two people and how they sort of emotionally connect, and that was what was most important. That it was a good film, and it was.
So you grew up not too far from here, right? And here you are tonight at this huge premiere.
Yeah, I drive by here constantly. Absolutely.
What was that like? I mean, can you compare the two, growing up from here and now being part of this premiere?
It's surreal, and I'm just getting used to it. I mean, I don't have a perfect answer for it because I don't really know. You know, this is all sort of new to me. I've taken sort of two roles that have definitely like jumped up my popularity for whatever reason. So I'm adjusting to it all. I mean, it's cool, but we'll see how it is.
When you compare this to your childhood, did you say, well, how could that be?
I'd always dreamed that I'd, be an actor and be doing well. I always had fantasies about that, for sure. Yeah.
The difficulties of making this movie on the water and just dealing with the water?
The water, much like anything else, was one of the things we had to go through. I mean, more so than all the sort of technical stuff that's been talked about so much on this movie, the triumph, I think, of this film was actually combining sort of an epic piece that actually had an interesting and realistic love story. That was, for me, what was most challenging, making that love story actually become real amongst all the sort of chaos that was going around,
So when they scream your name over there, what do you think?
I look and I wave, and that's it. I don't know what to think, really.
Leonardo?
Thank you.
Kendra's going to ask one question.
Okay.
Hi. Okay. Let's see. Does this make you nervous at all to come out to these things?
Make me nervous. Yes, absolutely.
You seem like you worked your ass pretty well.
I mean, I have to. It's part of the job. I'm just glad it's worth it because definitely. It surpassed my expectations.
One more question. First movie made out here. I think it would be great.
Leonardo, I'm Marcus Altmaier with German TV.
Hi, how are
Do
you?
you still know what that is?
Potato pancakes.
Weißt du das auch in Deutsch?
Kartoffelpfannkuchen. I
die
can't
Oma-
believe you brought them. That is amazing.
Von Oma aus Erkenschwick. Magst du die wirklich?
What did you say?
Magst du die wirklich?
Yeah, wirklich. My Opa made them for me all the time, so I have a strong connection to potato pancakes for sure.
Do you still practice German? Your mother said no.
No, I haven't been there in a while, but I love Germany. It's like my second home. My grandmother still lives there, and it's a wonderful place.
And
It's a good place for relaxing for me.
Erkenschwick is a small place, huh?
It is, sure is, but I love that town. It's great.
Do you want to say something to the German audience in German?
Hello, everyone. I hope you go out and see the Titanic. It's a terrific film, and I'm going to be back in Germany soon. Thank you.
Hallo Deutschland vielleicht in Deutsch.
Oh God, I can't
Kannst du
even.
das
I'm
noch?
so mixed up right now. If I tried to do German, I'd be so bad at it. But Dankeschön. Thank you.
Tschüss.
Tschüss.
How are you?
Hi.
Hey,
Hi.
people are bringing you food. You're on the cover
I got
today?
potato pancakes.
You want them?
No, it's cool. I have to go in.
I'm going.
Hey, you're on the cover today, Jerry.
Cruise ships, probably.
Well, that was Marcus down on the street with Leo. Of course, our show was seen all around the world, and Marcus being of German descent, he had a kind of a surprise for Leo with potato pancakes made by his very own grandmother.
I thought that was a really sweet touch. You have to kind of wonder what these celebrities think when they're just surrounded by mobs and mobs of people and all eyes are on every move that they make. It's kind of nice to have that little human touch there.
Yeah, kudos to Marcus for having the sense of humor and the foresight to bring that surprise with it.
Now, I think it's really remarkable what's happened with Leonardo's career. I mean, he was so wonderful, even in his first film, This Boy's Life, when he was so young. And it's been interesting to see how his popularity has just boomed with Romeo and Juliet and now Titanic. And he's really, really an amazing superstar.
I really liked him in Growing Pains. He was such a cute little kid. I mean, just and the thing that Céline Dion pointed out also in her interview is that everybody likes Leo. There's nobody that doesn't like, oh, there might be an occasional 14-year-old boy that's jealous of him, but everybody likes Leo. He's just such a likable guy.
Well, he's very personable, too. You could see that when he was being interviewed down on the street. He's just a very friendly, open kind of person.
And not a real scandal mongrel, or not, you don't hear bad things about him. He's like I say, just a really likable, nice guy. And we do have some more of that interview with Leo, and we'll be going to that here in just a moment.
Looks like Melissa Rivers from The Entertainment has Leonardo cornered over there for an interview.
You know, people are reading about the film technology, which is magnificent. There's no question about it. And it's a film of courage and sacrifice. You feel like I do, hey, it's an old-fashioned love story.
It truly is. I mean, it's in the vein of it's a modern movie in a lot of aspects, but at the same time, it's a classic story. It's a classic epic. You know what I mean? Traditionally, not done films like this in the past, and I took a chance and tried something different, and I'm really happy that I did it. I mean, as far as a new kind of film that hasn't been done in a long time,
Yeah, almost a 40s quality, Leonardo. You know, the Capra style, where the guys are up they're looking down and you're kissing Kate and your character and say, "Wow, look at that!" We don't see that anymore. It's good stuff.
I know it is. Not bad.
Not bad. Yeah.
And not bad is right as we look at the excitement going on here. What a crowd, what a night. The press is going crazy. The fans are having an absolute field day here.
Oh, you can just feel the excitement in the air. I mean, it gets more and more extreme as the night wears on.
I know we've missed some big stars just because quite frankly, there's so many of them. I mean, the cars are still coming from clear around the corner. They're lined up for blocks to get into the unloading area.
Well, the fans have been lined up since last night, actually. They've been here for hours and hours trying to get a good spot so they can see their favorite stars.
And there again, the Leo, the networks have just released him. He's getting ready. He's getting closer to the front entrance of the theater at any rate. One thing about it, I don't think they'll start without him. And of course, there we see Tom Arnold, his wife, going up to be interviewed again.
I think now Marcus has James Cameron and the other producer of Titanic, John Landau.
And boy, they are Hollywood's golden boys at this particular moment.
Biggest fear of the night. Mr. Mechanic, sir? Can we get together? Mr. Mechanic?
That's amazing self-control.
I've not seen the final. Gentlemen, once more?
The critics say this movie is going to change the movie history. Is it going to change your life?
I think it's probably. I expect to have some change as a director, because I think that because this is primarily a love story, primarily a dramatic film, people are going to look at me a little differently as not just like the Terminator guy, which I think is fair. Filmmakers don't like limitations, but they have to prove that they're beyond those limitations. You got to prove it first.
But this is definitely the most expensive film and also a big candidate for the Academy Awards. So do you think there is a slight chance of being recognized by the Academy Award members?
I think that the way people are talking, the way they're reacting to the film, I think Kate Winslet's performance, Leonardo DiCaprio's performance, they're getting a lot of notice. There's a lot of discussion. So yeah, I think it'd be great if they were honored by the Academy.
All right. Thank you. Good luck with the movie.
All right. Well, thank you.
Bye-bye.
For me, as the writer of the film, it was first and foremost a love story. And it's funny, I say Titanic was a romantic event, but I mean it in the kind of dark operatic sense of romance, where tragedy is involved, where sacrifice is involved, and here you had, where else in history can you think of a point where so many women and so many men were torn apart and saw each other for the last time in a moment of knowing that certain death was coming? I mean, that's inherently a dramatic thing, and to play out a love story against that environment.
Against that tragedy.
Yeah, exactly. I think that gives it a certain extra power. It's kind of the kicker, the turbocharger of the love story. But of course, you still have to have these people meet and fall in love, and it has to be joyful and it has to be real, and you have to believe it. It's the ride. And I think the way I've structured the film, I think it actually helps the enjoyment of the film to know that the ship is sinking, because every moment that you see, every innocent scene between these young lovers, everything that's happening is all in the back of your mind. There's this clock ticking. It's going to sink. It's going to sink. It's coming. The doom is coming.
This is the Titanic premiere, and do you think this film will change movie history?
I don't know.
That was the goal of the film.
Why?
Because of the budget, of the tremendous set design and everything, and also maybe because of the acting.
Don't know. It's difficult when you haven't seen it, but it sounds like it's a really good movie, I must say. But change history, I don't know.
We were out at sea for a month.
No, I have you here on the red carpet. I just saw yesterday my best friend's wedding, honestly, on video. Do you think you have a slight chance to get nominated for the Academy Award, or do you hope?
One of them went right over.
You always hope, but I don't know. I have no idea, really. I hope it's a nice idea, but, you never know.
Does this movie change your acting life?
Yeah, completely. Very much.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah, I have more opportunity.
Living in LA now? Still in England?
In New York.
New York.
Thanks a lot.
And now from Rupert Everett, we go to the captain of the Titanic, Bernard Hill.
The history? I don't think they make it as one as big as this again, maybe, really. I don't know. Hard to say, really. I mean, I'm not that closely involved in the decision-making process of whether there's going to be another big film or not. But having spent the money that they spent on this one, maybe they won't be so extravagant ever again. I don't know. It'd be a shame, really.
I think it will be a tremendous success here in Los Angeles and also in America. How is it in Europe? Do you think it's successful too?
Yeah, we picked up some fantastic reviews already. We had a Royal premiere, the Royal Film Performance, and we were all there. And after that, there was some fantastic reviews. I don't think the reviews can say anything too good about this film. I think it's a phenomenal film, and I'm really very proud to have been in it, very proud to have worked with Jim Cameron, and very proud to have played the captain of the Titanic.
Good luck with it.
Thanks. Thank you.
We were really lucky to get so many great interviews with so many different people. And now if you look real closely, you can see Leonardo and James Cameron down together in the midst of the crowds.
James looks like he's greeting one of the studio heads from from Fox, I think, and of course we have the producer John and the representative from Paramount, Ms. Lansing. So a group photo of some of the real powerhouses of Hollywood there.
I see Rod Stewart.
Oh, you're right, that is Rod Stewart.
I heard that Rod Stewart may be touring again real soon.
Yes, I understand that that's the case. Rod looked really fit. Now, Rod was a very promising young soccer player in his earlier years. Here again, he disappears into the throng of studio executives, fans, celebrities, dignitaries.
I think Marcus, back down on the street, is going to interview Bill Paxton now. He played the underwater explorer in Titanic.
It was difficult. That was one of the hardest movies ever made. I'm telling you. These people gave blood. Lots of it.
That was Bill Paxton, who played in the movie Titanic. And here's Dustin Hoffman and his entire family. And of course, behind him, behind Dustin, is Michael Chiklis. This is how the Titanic is meant to be seen. Take your entire family, as Dustin is doing here. A big night out. What a wonderful night it is for his children, too, and his lovely wife.
I see a lot more limos pulling up. It looks like the stars are still arriving.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen, Sylvester Stallone.
We have the biggest powerhouses from Hollywood coming out tonight for this premiere. It's really amazing. You very rarely see this many big superstars together at any event, except for maybe the Oscars.
Sly is looking fit as always and terrific, a lovely suit. And of course preparing for Rocky 27. But, you know, Sylvester, I joke with that, but Sylvester really doesn't seem to age much. And he keeps himself in tip-top physical condition.
He still looks wonderful. And the fans are just eating this up. I mean, this is amazing.
The camera crews scramble and reload their cameras. And of course, everyone wanting to get a statement or a bite from their favorite star. Of course, here we see the Hoffman family again posing for the international press corps as they move along the pressway there. Another long shot of the interview areas, and you can see all of the cameras and the people that are involved in this gala evening.
Well, this is how a premiere is meant to be.
It's really reminiscent of what you see in film footage of the old Hollywood premieres with the stars. And of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator, Conan the Barbarian, Mr. Olympia, and possibly Senator Schwarzenegger, I understand. But Arnold, of course, has worked with James Cameron many times in the past, and some of Arnold's biggest hits have been the two Terminator pictures that James Cameron directed.
Of course, he's there with his wife, Maria Shriver, who's a powerhouse in her own right.
Oh, a television star, and of course, part of if America had a royal family, the Kennedys are certainly it, and she's part of that family. We did get an opportunity. Marcus, I think, is setting up down there to have a visit with Arnold, and we'll be, as soon as he gets him into position, we'll be going down to Marcus and his conversation with Arnold Schwarzenegger. But here again, you can see all of the equipment and the panorama of Hollywood at its proudest moment.
I don't think we mentioned it before, but if you look now at the camera, you can see that the studio actually recreated a replica of the fantail of the Titanic. It's the most amazing thing.
I think Marcus has got that interview now with Arnold.
Boy, you have a quick second. How proud of you are of your friend and collaborator, Jim Cameron, at the moment?
Well, I'm very excited that this is such a huge premiere, because for a huge movie like that, you need a huge premiere. I'm extremely proud of him. I was down in Mexico 3 times visiting them when they were filming, and it is extraordinary. The sets, the ship, the acting, the wardrobe, the directing, the special effects, visual effects, everything is just extraordinary. So I think this is going to be the most important movie of the year, the biggest movie of the year, and hopefully the most successful in as far as box office, and I hope also the most successful in as far as awards is concerned. So I wish him all the luck.
How meticulous is Jim Cameron on a movie set? You know more than anyone.
He's a general. You know, you cannot approach this kind of a size of a movie any other way than being a general. You have to have total control over every person. He knows every single name of anyone that works there in a movie. He just really has direction. He has a very clear vision of what he wants, and he will get it. He's the kind of a guy that will not settle for 9. He has every shot has to be a 10, and that's what makes him, such a great director. Anyway, good to see you all.
Well, that was the great Arnold Schwarzenegger speaking with Marcus down on the street, and of course, talking about James Cameron and the fact that you have to be a general to run an army the size of the one that it took to make this great movie. And of course, Arnold has a lot of experience working with James Cameron. And there he is visiting with James Cameron. They're still very, very close friends after all of these years of working together.
Well, he seems to have a lot of admiration for Cameron's work. And, of course, he's friendly with Linda Hamilton, too, Cameron's wife. And let's see, we're back down. I think I see Frances Fisher and James Cameron down on the floor in the midst of that big group of people.
I think Miss Fisher is prying Arnold for some more workout tips. She's in great shape herself. She really, for a lady, has some real muscularity. I'm sure Arnold is visiting with her about that and giving her some additional pointers. But Nathan Lane.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little older than you. Yes, I saw the original film. Yeah, because I love Gary Lewis. Now I'm not so sure. I did.
He was the star of The Birdcage with Robin Williams, and more recently played on Broadway in A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum.
And of course, a very, very funny movie, Mouse Hunt.
You know, James Cameron made an interesting point during that exclusive interview we had earlier. He was talking about the tragedy of the Titanic. And, you know, this is a really thrilling night for everybody, and there's a lot of lights and glamour, but it's important to remember that this was based on a real-life story, and a lot of lives were lost.
Excellent point, Alex. That is exactly correct. And as sad as that is, and as historic as that is, it unfortunately makes for great motion pictures. We have more of the exclusive interview with Leonardo DiCaprio.
One of the lines that Jack Dawson uses is, he's the last man to board the Titanic. Mm-hmm. I'm the luckiest man alive.
Mm-hmm.
Is Leonardo DiCaprio feeling that way right now?
I feel pretty lucky, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, I'm just happy to be in the position that I'm in. I mean, I want to have a long career in this business and try a bunch of different things as far as film is concerned. And I feel extremely lucky. That's for sure.
Well, you certainly are doing a great job. Don't miss Titanic, and it's going to get nominated. My prediction.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, Alex, that's it. The big night, as we can see as the credits roll over, shot to the crowd. What a wonderful evening and a spectacular, spectacular premiere.
It certainly was, and I can't wait to see what's going to top this premiere.
It's going to be a long, long time before you're going to see anything that's going to top this in Hollywood. For Alexandria Hansen, and this is Bob Michael saying good night and enjoy the movie.